Alright, so we're in this part of the video where I have to address the elephant in the room, and that is this sprocket setup here. Now usually in a motorized bike kit, you're always going to have something called a rag joint set up for your sprocket. That is two rubber gaskets sandwiching the spokes. One side will have your sprocket, the other side will have 2 or 3 brackets. It doesn't matter. It's not super ideal to have that type of setup because you are tugging on the spokes, and the spokes are under a lot of pressure. So having the engine tug on the spokes is just adding even more stress to them, and you usually could bend them or break them off. The other setup that you could do is this. This is a sprocket adapter. This is just 3 pieces. It's the sprocket, and then there's 2 pieces in here. And what they do is, instead of mounting up to your spokes, they mount up to the hub. This setup is a heck of a lot easier and way more convenient than the rag joint, because the rag joint you got like 9 bolts, and then you gotta center it and make sure the sprocket it's not wobbling around when you spin it. This just goes on real easy, and it's pretty much a direct fit, as long as you get the right size ID for the hub on your bike, because some of these sprocket adapters have different IDs. But there's one major flaw with these things, and that is they are notorious for spinning around on the hub. And when they do that, they'll come in contact with the spokes. They'll bend the spokes, and if you don't address it, eventually they'll shear the spokes off. And in this case, this is most likely what happened. It is a pretty major flaw with this design, and it makes the rag joint setup reasonable to use. Well, there's 2 things you could do. The surface on the ID of this sprocket adapter, it's smooth. There's no key, there's no hub, it's just a smooth surface. And when you try to clamp down a smooth surface on another smooth surface, you're not going to get enough friction. You're going to have to shave down just a little bit off the sides on both pieces. Usually when you clamp them down, the 2 surfaces mate, and they mate flush, so you can't clamp it anymore. If you shave these down, if you shave these 2 pieces down, you'll get a little bit more clamping force. But that's not going to solve the problem. So what you're going to have to do, the second thing to do, is on this piece here with the 2 bolt holes, you're going to have to drill and tap it and put a set screw in there. That set screw is going to bite the hub, and with it, it will help prevent it from wanting to spin around. So those are the 2 things. You got to shave down the 2 pieces so you can get more clamping force, and then put a set screw, drill, tap the hole, put a set screw, and that way you get even more of a clamping force. If you do that, the sprocket adapter shouldn't spin around. If you just put it on as is, then you risk doing this, destroying your spokes. Yeah, this tire's done for. Okay, so this is the engine that I'm going to use. It's the Predator 212. As you could tell, it's a lot bigger than the previous engines that I used. So what I'm going to do is take this engine apart. Well, I'm going to take the exhaust and the air box off and the fuel tank off, just so I can get a better idea. Chances are I'm going to have to take them off anyways to get them to fit in the frame. I'm most likely going to have to do a stage 1 on this Predator, just so I can. I'm probably going to use a Mikuni carburetor for the intake, not the exhaust. So this is probably how I'm going to mount it. All I did was just tilted it backwards. It's still going to rotate this way, I just tilted it back. It's the only way I can get it to fit in the frame without having to really chop up the frame and to squeeze it in. But I'm probably still going to have to cut this part here. I can clear the valve cover. I'll use these. These used to be supports for the gas tanks, but I'll put a bracket here so I'll have it mounted to the frame down here, and I'll create some sort of bracket here so they'll be mounted here as well. Well, I did the best I can to patch up these holes. Every time I go to try to cover a spot, another spot will open up. I'm probably going to put some sheet metal across this for sure. Okay, I really hate welding thin metal, but I think it came out okay. After grinding down the ugly welds, I think it came out okay. So I got that on. All I have to do is get this seat post in, which I'm going to use this pipe. It's 1-inch pipe, water pipe. And that's pretty much it for and the foot pegs that I'm also going to make out of 1-inch pipe, because it fits in there pretty nice. And I'm going to bend this and then bend it back, so I'll have like a good, bend it at 45 and then bend it back so it's straight. So that way it will have I'll have somewhere I can put my feet at. Now I don't know if I want to, in the future, if I want to use this hub, because it looks like it's been scored up real bad. Yeah, in the future I'll eventually replace that hub too. I screwed up. Damn it. Maybe I should go learn how to lace a wheel. So what I have to do right now is just weld a piece of pipe here. Right now I got it tacked on. Tacks are very weak right now because it wasn't as hot. I didn't get the welder as hot, but it's just a tack. I'll go over and fully weld it. So I got the seat in today. This is a seat that I'm gonna be using. This is off of a NB200, I believe. It is really large. I thought it was gonna be a little smaller than this, but thing's huge. I didn't want to go with the bike seat because the bike seat, they're harder than heck to find. And I found one, but they wanted too much for it. I'd prefer a mini bike seat because if you go with a bike seat, those things are thin and uncomfortable. The moment you hit a bump, it's going to be up in your butt. So I prefer to go with something a little more comfortable. Now these things are designed with the intent of you hammering the hell out of your mini bike. That's another reason why I went with this. Not only for the cost, but because these things you could thrash on. I can destroy this and order another one. I can order about like 2 or 3 of these for the price of that one seat. And these are a little bit more comfortable. They can fit a fat butt on this. It's a little too big for what I'm liking. So I got the new tire. This is not the new tire. This is the old tire. Really bad. This is the new tire. I was kind of worried that they wouldn't have this tire. It's not a common size, but I was surprised they actually had it. So I should be getting the rear spokes today. That's these guys here, but these are the old ones. I should be getting the rear spokes today, and then I can go and build the wheel and lace it up. Okay, it's me from the future. My camera died yesterday, so it's the following day. Anyways, what I was trying to say is my front spokes are going to come in about a month and a half. So it's going to take me a long time to get those spokes. So in the meantime, I'm just going to use my wife's front tire on her bike. Alright, I just temporarily put on the spokes. I know, what the hell is a bird in here? Anyways, this is just temporary. I'll just practicing how I'm gonna try to lace this thing. I want to take this to a bike shop because I can't get this freewheel off. So hopefully they can get this freewheel off because these are the old spokes. This side's the new spokes, and I can't take these spokes off because this freewheel is in the way. So I'm gonna take it to the bike shop, get this removed so I can take these off, get the new spokes on. I'm gonna try to figure this out. But anyways, I think I'm gonna call it for this video right now because I gotta try to keep this under 15 minutes or else YouTube's gonna get mad at me. So pretty much what I did is I cleaned up the frame. I welded the seat post. I tacked it in. I mocked up the engine and I figured out what I wanted to do. And I got the seat here. Pretty much I'm just making a template for it so I can see how it's gonna go on. I got my gas tank. It actually fits it real well. I'm sorry if I sound like a crack addict right now, sniffing a lot because it is very cold here, windy, and my nose is full of metal. So I promise you I'm not a crack addict. But anyways, I'm just gonna call it for this video. So in the next video I'm gonna finish up the seat and pretty much weld the seat mounts, get the gas tank on, weld the brackets for the gas tank, the engine, weld the engine brackets on. So there's gonna be a lot of welding in the next video, and getting this wheel all figured out. So I'll see you in the next one. Go. Oh. There we go.